is up, guys, and welcome to the Arcane Mage Guide for Galakras. In this fight, I'm going to be going over everything you need to know as an Arcane Mage going forward in this fight, talents, glyphs, and some tips and tricks to help you DPS in this fight. Okay, the first thing we need to understand about Galakras is literally from normal to heroic, there's not much of a difference. You do have to deal with some adds a little bit differently and make sure that your NPCs don't get pummeled. But you have to do that normal as well, just not as, hey, turn, get this done immediately now, or else it's a fail. So keep that in mind. The big trick with this fight, though, talent-wise for a mage, especially an arcane mage, let's go over talents real quick. So, we're going to definitely be using Temporal Shield, as there's not a lot of damage that goes out in this fight. This fight is super easy to survive in, especially as a mage, and I'll explain why in a minute. But Temporal Shield, there's not really any huge damaging effects till the very end, and having that heal back over time during the burn phase at the end when the boss is down, really nice to have, especially with the damage reduction that they've added to it. So stick with that. Cauterize, again, another really good one to have, because if anything crazy might happen, you do have that to bail you out. So if you get a little too high a stack, if you accidentally, don't run out or don't blink out of Hythalanos' cleave, there's a few things that can kill you in this fight if you're just really not paying attention. So having that as your oh crap button is really, really nice to have. Bomb-wise, we want Nether Tempest, and we're Nether Tempesting everything, okay? Nether Tempest does so much damage, we have to take it. It will be the majority of your damage on any multi-target fight, as long as they're stacked up. I mean, this fight is insanely good for Nether Tempest. You have to take it. It will outperform Living Bomb every single time. Okay, so please do that. Also, what you also need to know is, let's go through our wonderful glyphs. Okay, so for glyphs for this fight, you have a few options. Double blink is essential. The reason I say double blink is essential is when Hythalanos does his suck in ability and you have to get out, you can immediately blink back out. You don't have to run away. You don't have to worry about anything. It's very, very nice to have. Also, if you find yourself in a bad position, or you find yourself to where you need to move around very, very quickly, having blink will really cover that entire area where you're fighting the boss with a click of a button and one GCD. So having that second blink available is really, really nice, as there's not really anything that stuns you in this fight, so keep that in mind. As long as there's not a stun ability, that becomes really nice. Glyph of Evocation, I find this glyph really, really overpowered for this fight. The reason I find it so overpowered is because in the last phase you're standing in your rune like a good mage, right? It's also healing you back over time. So between your Hellstone, your Glyph of Evocation, and your Temporal Shield, you have plenty, and your Cauterize, and your Ice Block. You have so much that can keep you alive. There's really no excuse for you to fall down, unless the healer goes down and you just can't keep yourself up through the absolute throughput of the damage coming out. That should be the only reason that you die in this fight as a mage. Other useful glyphs, armors, I've seen some people use. Mana Gem, I've also seen some people use. I actually don't mind using Counterspell, and you'll see that glyphed in mine currently, just because those Title Shaman do need to be interrupted, so having that interrupt available without having to stop any DPS is really, really nice. And because they're the only ones that really need to be interrupted, being able to just hit that and not have it cost you any GCDs is a really nice lifesaver interrupt, because you're not going to be put on the interrupts every time, because our cooldown is so long. So why not just add another 4 seconds to it and not ever have to worry about canceling a cast to cast that, okay? That's another good one that I typically recommend in this fight that most people don't use. But it allows you to really keep an interrupt on the shaman, especially if there's one that maybe is way far away, or somebody did something stupid and it's way out there and no melee can get to it. You can immediately turn, get it, and continue your DPS, and it's not a big deal. Tips and tricks for this fight, again, obviously Nether Tempest. Blinking out of Hythalanos will save you a lot of DPS time. You'll be able to get right back on the boss immediately. Understanding that your Arcane Barrage is super powerful for this fight. Now, with farm mode the way it is, and as you'll see in the video, everything dies so quick now because of the gear, that you don't really get to see Arcane Barrage shine. But when this was first progression, Arcane Mages did an absolute metric ton of damage on this fight because of Arcane Barrage, and the ads were lasting so long that you would just destroy everything. So if your guild's progressing on this and those ads seem to be up for quite a while, go ahead and try it, because Arcane Barrage will really, really be nice for you. So you want to get to your stacks, clear them off, and then immediately barrage. Remember that it barrages multi-targets for every stack that you have, depending on how many targets you have. So if you have 4 targets, you have 4 stacks, it'll hit 4 targets. Okay, it works that same way. If you have 3 stacks, it'll hit 3 targets. But again, because we always normally have a single target, we can just cleave it off. It's part of our natural rotation, and it does an absolute ton of damage. So you should be fine doing that. I hope this helped you guys. If you have any other questions or tips and tricks, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Make sure you check out the splash screen at the end of the video. I worked hard on it. I think I got it working right. And as always, we'll see you in the next one.